So Apple fans, here we are once again, standing right at the edge of another massive leap in Apple Silicon history. The Mac Studio has already earned its crown as one of the most powerful desktop computers Apple has ever built. A compact, performance beast designed for creators, coders, and dreamers who live and breathe performance. But now, whispers across the tech world are turning into a roar, because what's coming next might completely redefine desktop computing. Introducing, or should I say, preparing to dominate the world, the Mac Studio M5 Ultra, Apple's next-gen silicon monster that could change everything for creative professionals, developers, and anyone pushing their workflow to the absolute limit. Today on Trove, we're breaking down everything you need to know and everything you should expect about Apple's next big leap in desktop power. We'll cover the release date, pricing, M5 Max and M5 Ultra chip specs, performance expectations, AI upgrades, design tweaks, display changes, and even Apple's long-term Mac strategy. Grab your coffee, because this one's going to be wild. But before we look ahead, let's rewind a bit to see how we got here. The evolution of the Mac Studio. Small box, big legacy. The story of the Mac Studio is nothing short of revolutionary. When Apple first launched it, the goal was clear. Create a machine that bridges the gap between the compact Mac Mini and the powerhouse Mac Pro. And it worked. The first-gen Mac Studio, powered by the M1 Max and M1 Ultra, was a total game changer. Reviewers called it workstation performance that fits in one hand. Filmmakers, 3D designers, and developers suddenly had access to insane power, without needing a noisy tower or a huge budget. Then came the M2 Ultra, followed by M3 Ultra and M4 Max versions in early 25. That's when things got confusing. Apple released the M4 Max alongside the M3 Ultra, but skipped the M4 Ultra entirely. Why? Was Apple changing its release roadmap? Or were they secretly holding something massive for later? Turns out, yes. They were saving the big guns for what's now shaping up to be a historic launch, the M5 generation. The missing M4 Ultra, Apple's silent move when the M3 Ultra arrived in 2025, everyone expected the M4 Ultra next. But Apple went completely silent. Instead, the Mac Studio M4 Max became the latest configuration, and while it offered strong performance, it wasn't the leap people hoped for. It featured a 16-core CPU, 12 performance and 4 efficiency cores, and up to a 40-core GPU, priced at around $119.99. Solid? Absolutely. Groundbreaking? Not really. For most M2 Ultra and M3 Ultra users, it wasn't worth upgrading. But behind the scenes, Apple was quietly re-engineering its entire architecture, preparing for something on a completely different scale. That something is the M5 Ultra, the most advanced chip Apple has ever built. The M5 Ultra, Apple's silicon revolution begins. Let's talk about what's truly exciting, the M5 Ultra chip. According to reliable industry insiders, Apple's M5 family is already in production testing and will power the MacBook Pro, iPad Pro, and Mac Studio lineup starting in late 2025 through early 2026. Here's the expected lineup. M5, base model. For MacBook Air and entry-level Mac Mini, M5 Pro. For the 14-inch MacBook Pro, M5 Max. For higher-end laptops and the base Mac Studio M5 Ultra, the flagship desktop chip, built for the Mac Studio and possibly the Mac Pro, but here's where things get serious. The M5 Ultra isn't just about more cores, it's about smarter computing. Apple is pushing deep into AI optimization, machine learning acceleration, and next-gen GPU architecture, making this chip a cornerstone for Apple Intelligence, their new ecosystem-wide AI initiative. From Final Cut Pro's smart editing to Logic Pro's AI-assisted music creation, this chip isn't just going to run faster, it's going to think faster. M5. Max versus M5 Ultra. A breakdown of power. Let's crunch the numbers. 5. Max, expected specs. 18-core CPU, 14 performance plus 4 efficiency. Up to 42-core GPU, 128 GB unified memory. TSMC's enhanced 3nm architecture M5 Ultra. Expected specs. 36-core CPU, 28 performance, plus 8 efficiency. Up to 84-core GPU, 64-core neural engine, double that of the M3 Ultra. Up to 256 GB unified memory. Improved ray tracing and AI compute cores, now that's a monster. Apple is even testing a dual-die interconnect, doubling data bandwidth between CPU and GPU, allowing ultra-high-performance workflows like AI rendering, 8K video editing, and simulation without relying on external GPUs. In short, the M5 Ultra could make the Mac Studio not just powerful, but the most efficient desktop computer in the world. Design and cooling, the quiet powerhouse design-wise. Apple probably won't reinvent the wheel here. Expect that same compact aluminum cube, whisper-quiet cooling, and surgical precision finish. However, one major rumor is heating up: a new space black or dark space gray color option to match the M3 MacBook Pro. Subtle, but elegant, and very Apple. And speaking of heat, Apple is reportedly adding a liquid vapor chamber cooling system adapted from the MacBook Pro line. This could allow the M5 Ultra to run flat out for hours, with almost zero noise. Studio Display 2. A perfect match. Apple's Studio Display hasn't had a major refresh since 2022, and it's overdue. The new Studio Display 2, expected to launch alongside the Mac Studio M5 Ultra, could feature 120Hz ProMotion adaptive refresh rate, mini LED or micro LED panel, better HDR and deeper contrast, upgraded 4K webcam and microphone array, thinner bezels, and height-adjustable stand pair that with the M5 Ultra's raw power, and you've got a creator's dream setup, performance and visuals working in perfect sync. AI, Apple Intelligence, and the future of local processing. Apple is going all in on on-device AI, and the Mac Studio M5 Ultra will be at the center of that revolution. Imagine this: Final Cut Pro automatically editing your timeline based on emotion, Logic Pro composing harmonies to match your melody, or Xcode using Apple Intelligence to generate smarter code snippets, all locally, with zero cloud lag, no internet dependency, no data privacy risks, just pure local AI muscle. The M5 Ultra's neural engine will make it happen, and it's about to give Apple a serious edge over Intel, AMD, and even NVIDIA's AI-capable workstations. Price, models, and release timeline. Here's what we're expecting. Mac Studio M5 Max base model. $1,999. Mac Studio M5 Ultra base model. $3,999. $4,999. Fully loaded configuration. Up to $6,999. Yes, it's pricey, but for creative professionals, the performance per dollar is unbeatable. As for the release date, Apple is expected to unveil the Mac Studio M5 Ultra at WWDC 2026. Following the launch of M5-powered MacBooks and iPads in late 2025, how it stacks up against the competition. When compared to the Mac Pro, the Studio line offers nearly identical performance at half the size and cost, and when you pit it against Dell Precision, HP Z8 Fury, or NVIDIA RTX workstations, Apple still wins in thermal efficiency, noise levels, and software synergy. With the M5 Ultra, Apple might finally overtake NVIDIA and AMD in creative workloads, especially for AI, 3D rendering, and high-resolution editing.